Q Services, Qwashers, eBay and YouTube. What we're on with is the Tx12100. Now obviously these come in different formats with different colour lids. Sometimes they might have a blue lid on, sometimes they might have the red lid on. What I've got here is a machine that's lacking in pressure, but what's happening is the machine is unloading. Now we tried to put an unloader in there and it's made no difference, so it looks like the head, it can happen sometimes, and the head itself is worn on the unloader. So when we've put it in, the machine is still hunting, which you'll see in a second or two. So we'll demonstrate it and show you. You'll also see there that this looks like it's been frozen because the gauge itself is lipped. Yeah, the little problem with these machines is fantastic little machines. They've got an integral unloader in the system, W112 pump, but a little design fault is all these years these machines have been made, got a switch on the top that turns it on and off. Keep an eye on your gasket. If that gasket gets damaged, what happens is, when you're sat outside of this machine, the water runs straight through the switch and it goes into the motor itself, so the machine then starts tripping out. You can also at times have the machine blowing fuses. So we're going to set this up at the moment so it's suck and return. This is how we're going to set this one up when it's all done and dusted, which we're going to show you how to do. You get your two capacitors on the machine itself, and like I say, what we're going to do is continue and show you the machine. So I'll turn the machine on, and if you look at the hose, you will see it jumping. So the hose all the time is jumping. Pull the trigger, let go, and the machine continues to jump on the hose. It's unloading continually. So what we're going to do is take the unloader out, and you'll see from there onwards. So what we're going to do is undo the unloader itself out of the system completely. So we're going to take this part out. So you'll see in here, very corroded and everything else. This is the unloader itself that's going to sit inside. We're going to take this out in a second or two. What we have to do is get two screwdrivers that are sharp and prise it out. Won't be a second. So two screwdrivers down, and we'll prise the unloader out. So what we've got here is the unloader that's inside there, relief valve. Inside you'll also see a nut down there in the bottom, the silver shiny nut. What we're going to do is pull that out as well in a second or two. So what I've got here is a piece of threaded bar that we're going to screw down and pull the seat out. We'll screw it into the seat itself and then just get hold of it and pull the seat out itself once it's in. And that's the seat that's in the bottom. You'll see what we're going to do with that in a minute or two. So we've taken the seat out of the bottom, if you can see, I don't know whether you can or not with the light. We've also taken the front part off, and inside there you'll see an orifice, lighting to over good, but we'll take it out and then you can see that as well. Yeah, we've taken the end off, and we'll continue and take this part out. So what we're going to do also here now is a little Allen key, and we're going to shove and prise this part out, which, there we go. It's the stem itself at the front of it. So now we've got an open chamber. So what we can do now is put this part back in place. So what we've got now is we've bunged off. We've put a stud into there and bung this port off down here. We're going to put this back in place now. And shove it back into the bottom, right into the bottom seat. So that seat's pushed fully down now. So what we've got there is the old unloader, and what we're going to do is going to cut the end off it, and we're going to insert that into the end of the unloader itself, so that then is sat in there and stops it from leaking, which you'll see in a minute or two. So we're going to cut this, take the end nipple off and insert it into the unloader. So we've got this part, we're going to shove that inside. We've got the unloader ready, so it's flow sensitive, so it's not trapped unloader from there onwards. So that's inserted inside the unloader. And what we're going to do is screw this back into the top now, so it's all bunged off. We've just got a straightforward pump, which you'll follow in a minute or two and see. So the old unloader is back in place. Obviously that doesn't need setting, that's not used anymore. All we've done is just put the top part in to stop it from leaking out the top. So then set the flow sensitive unloader system up. And obviously what we'll do here is set it up to dump in a second or two. So what we're doing is this machine is being set up to suck and return. So what's going to happen is this will dump. So the machine itself will suck the water in at the bottom side and it will dump the water back to the tank it's sucking from. 3 meters really is the max, and what you do is set yourself a pipe up. The other way is if you wanted to put a fitting from there and take this bung out and go into the bottom side of it. What we're doing is continuing this video for the Tx12100. So what simply happened was I not pressed the wrong button right at the end. So set the system up, 22mm screw fit in there, 22mm outlet. Set the machine up to dump and suck, so it's sucking and returning back to the tank down below. So, but like I said before, if you wanted to, what you can do is put a fitting into here with a high pressure hose and take this bung out, so when you let go of the trigger the water returns back round the head. This system makes it so this machine can be left running. You'll have no problems at all. You've got no pressure in the system itself because it's a flow sensitive unloader, so the gun itself has got no pressure in the system, which we'll show you in a minute or two. And like I say, so the machine is not surging, jip, jip, jip. But what it's also done is, if this head is worn and damaged inside with the unloader going up and down all the time, what it's done is save you a fortune on replacing the head. You can put a trapped unloader in if you wanted to as well. It can be done the same way. It doesn't have to be flow sensitive, but we normally go flow sensitive. Make sure you get the right unloader. For the pump pressure and everything else, this pump's 12 litre 100 bar, 05 jet. So like I say, make sure you get the right unloader and set the unloader right. There is a video showing you how to set the unloader. When you're pulling that trigger, what you're wanting out of this dump side is a slight drizzle coming out of there. That's all out of this unloader system. Left hand thread on this nut, so when you're setting it, make sure you remember that it's a left hand thread on the nut on the top, and then lock it off. Like I say, this unloader is redundant, not used whatsoever. All you've done is take all the grubbings out of the head itself, make it into a normal head. This can be done on any machine in the marketplace with an integral unloader, same way as I've just done now. So if you've got a machine on that side, it can be changed over. And like I say, what we'll do is demonstrate the flow sensitive, so the system is sat there with zero pressure in the high pressure hose. So we've turned the machine on, got the machine up and running. So what's simply happening is, you'll see when we pull the trigger, there's no water going down that tube. When we let go of the trigger, you've got water travelling down, and that's on the flow and return system. Yeah, what I'll do is show you the non-trap pressure system in the high pressure hoses, so your system's got no pressure in. So like you can see here now, what we've got here is this system itself. Normally if that was doing that, or the old system, the machine would be going chip, 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 chip. This high pressure hose, the system itself is under no pressure. You can leave it running all day long, this machine, so the hose itself has got zero pressure in there when it's not being used. When we pull the trigger, we've then got pressure. Like I say, with it being flow and return, you can leave the machine running, sucking and returning all day long. You'll do no harm to the machine. Thank you very much. Q Services, Qwashers, eBay and YouTube. So Tx12100 again, if we was making the system, so it's trap pressure system, well not trap pressure, but we're using the flow sensitive unloader. What we do is return it to the head, which I spoke about before, like this. So what would simply happen is when you let go of the trigger, the water would dump from here back into the bottom chamber here. So the water itself is trapped then, so you can just work off mains water if you wanted to with the flow sensitive unloader system, which saves the machine. It also, sometimes you'll find with the Tx12100, it'll pop a fuse. This will also stop that from happening. you won't have the same problem with that as what you would do normally when you sometimes with the track pressure and loader not knowing what it's doing. So it also stops them fuses from popping. Another little problem that happens with the TX12100 machine. So this is part 3. There's part 1 to this video, there's part 2, and this is the part 3 showing you how to set it up as return back to head. Thank you very much, Q Services, Qwashers, eBay and YouTube.